Welcome to the 2021 Kincardine Fall Fair. This year's fair is brought to you by Surf's Up Eco Shop, Ontario Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs, the Municipality of Kincardine, and the County of Bruce. Today's Ag Adventure has us heading out to see Mark McConnell and his family at Rovin Acres. Join us as we investigate what all this clucking is about. Hi Mark, thanks for being here with me today.
Well, glad to have you.
Could you start off by telling us a little bit about the history of your farm?
Mom and Dad started the farm here whenever they purchased it from Dad's aunt and uncle in 1954, and they were married in 55 and started here when they retired from their off-farm jobs and milking cows, and then we get into the chickens in 1958 or 59 as well, and it's carried on from there.
So how many chickens do you have and what breed are they?
We've got approximately 45,000 chickens, and we've got Ross is the breed of chickens that we have.
So I see you do things a little bit differently here. Could you explain that to me?
For the most part, most broiler barns are very similar. In our barn here, one thing we've done is our feeding system has been turned one end of the barn to the other because of our ventilation system that we've incorporated here. We've gone with chimney vents for our first two stages of ventilation, and then when we get into our third stage of ventilation, we go into what we call a tunnel ventilation. So we draw air from one end of the barn and exhaust at the other end of the barn. The end of the barn that has the incoming air, we've put what we call a water wall on, so that in the hot summer months, whenever it's hot and sticky, we can't air condition the barn, but we can move air through it, and it'll drop the temperature of the barn 5 to 6 degrees more than just moving air through it.
So it's a very controlled and comfortable environment here for the chickens?
Yep. Oh yeah, it is, whenever they come in as day-old birds, we start off at 91 degrees here, and as they grow through their life cycle, we start dropping that temperature down to get to roughly 70 to 72 degrees. Their environment's all regulated by temperature, by humidity, by ventilation, feed in front of them all the time, water in front of them all the time. We go through them at minimum of twice a day. We walk the barns and adjust waters and feeders so that they're optimum height for eating and drinking. And it also helps us to monitor the barn to make sure that we've got the ventilation and the heat and everything else right.
So what do the chickens eat and how many times do you feed a day?
And there's 3 different feeds, well I guess 4 different feeds. We start off with what we call a pre-starter, and it's balanced for that age of bird for day old to day 5 or 6. And then we go on to what we call a starter ration, and they're on a starter ration for 2.5 to 3 weeks. Then go on to a grower ration for 2 weeks, and then they finish up on a finisher ration. This is what we feed. So, and it's all formulated through feed nutritionists, through the feed companies that we use. So,
thanks for your time today, Mark. Really appreciate it.
Well, glad having you here. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming along on today's Ag Adventure. Join us back here again tomorrow as we explore another piece of Kincardine's agricultural community. And a huge thanks to our sponsors who made this possible.